Hi guys, this is a Northrop F-5E supersonic fighter jet, and this is the Brazilian Air Force anniversary edition to celebrate them using the aircraft for 30 years. And this is an RC model of that anniversary edition which has unfortunately suffered a small accident. I've already done a couple of things. Fairly destructive ones. I've broken this off completely because it'll be easier to clean the glue out and stick it back on properly, and I've done the same thing to the whole back end of the plane, which again will make it easier to glue back together and also lets us see the motor. So let's flip it upside down and see what we've got. From the bottom I've removed this plate which holds the fan and motor inside. So this is called an electric ducted fan, and inside this duct, if we can just see, are the fan blades. The motor spins and that fan sucks air in through the front air intakes and then blasts it out through the back of the model, through the jets. You can see on the underside of the plane the two servos which power the elevator flaps. This elevator flap has been ripped off, so I'll have to fit a new hinge, and then there's two servos here underneath the wings to move the ailerons. And what I'd like to do before I glue the whole thing back together is test whether all of this electrical stuff still works. Before I test the electrics, I decided to refit the base plate to hold this motor in place, which will be safer when it starts to spin. Okay, so we've seen some wires hanging around the motor here. If we move forward, we can lift this off here and see where they go. So this part here is called the electronic speed controller, and the battery plugs directly into it and it creates the power for the motor. It also creates power going forward for the receiver, which powers the servos for the flaps. And then moving a bit further forward, under the cockpit, we should be able to lift this off. There we go. We see all the connection points. So this is for the battery, this is for one of the servos, and all the other bits and pieces are for one of the servos. But what we need to connect all of this up is one of these. This is a receiver. This will receive the signals from my controller and it will tell the whole plane what to do. Okay, so there's the receiver plugged in. I hope I got them all in the right order. In a Spectrum receiver it usually goes thrust, ailerons, elevators and rudder. There is no rudder in this plane. As you can see, this is just a solid tail fin. But there is, however, a servo down here which is connected to the rudder, which I think at one time would have steered the front wheel. Normally you attach the steering to the rudder, so I connected it up anyway just to see if it works. Right, we've got a battery which is roughly the right size for it, so we'll plug it in. I've got my transmitter already switched on. Let's see what happens. Oh, heard a little something there, so maybe, well, hopefully that means that it's all connected. Okay, let's have a quick look and see if the elevators work. Okay, that one looks pretty good. This one's moving as well, but of course it's not attached, so that's good. Right, next let's see if the motor is going to spin. Yeah, no problem there. Right, let's check the ailerons. So I want to steer left and right. Ah, okay. So that that aileron's working. But that one isn't. Which is interesting because Dave, whose model this is, said that the plane stopped responding before it crashed, so maybe it was failure of this maybe it's failure of that which caused it to lose control. And now let's have a little look at the front to see if this rudder servo works. If it does, maybe I can put it in that aileron space. Move that out of the way. Here we go. Rudder. There you go. It does work. So maybe I can use that to replace the broken one in the wing. So I need to fix this servo so the aileron works again, and then I need to glue the plane back together and fit the hinges in this elevator flap, and then hopefully the plane will fly. I'll speak to you again soon.